Hello and welcome to this tune, which is called Evening Song, something I've written ever since I was old enough to appreciate these kind of things. I've loved chords, interesting chords like major sevenths and like a C chord with an A bass and a C chord with a D bass. The other night we were at Morris practice and I was waiting for the dancers to start, and I came up with this little tune which is a bit like a hymn. And I went outside, got my mobile phone out, and I just recorded a little bit of it just to get an idea of it, so I didn't forget it. And I've kind of refined it over the last few days, and I thought you might like to learn it on your DG Melodeon. I'm also going to play it on the B flat E flat because I think it sounds nice on there, as lots of hymns do. I've written on the music hymn-like, but not too slow. Okay, so I think that's fairly obvious. So let's get started. We're going to start off in position -1. With the second finger on the G note. This is the third button start instrument, this Dino Buffetti. So this note on the push is G, and this note is D on the D row. So notes in the G row will have normal heads, notes in the D row will have diamond heads. And here's our first bar. Now you notice we're not doing the dreaded pa pa, we've got a nice solid bass note and chord. So when it says G, I mean G, bass and G chord. Like that, see? So together, pushing in, and then the second half of the bar we want C chord with an A bass. Now chords are normally written in lowercase, but in a situation like this I put the chords with a capital letter. So they've got C chord, which is button 3 on the inside row, pulled out, and at the same time A bass, which is button 2 on the outside row. So that's your C with the A bass, or an A minor 7th if you prefer it. So G chord for 2 beats, and C with the A bass for 2 beats. So chords, and just 2 beats each. Think of them as minims. And the right hand, we're going to play this. So we push, and then we pull on the same button. So button 3, button 4, button 4, button 3. So it gives us G, B, C, A. Put that together. And notice I lift the chord off before I reach the end of the respective halves of the bar, because it's too much if you sustain the chords for too long. There's quite a lot of that in this tune. 4 beats to the bar, of course. And then when we get into the second bar, we play our G again. And then we come over to the D row for this F sharp, hence the diamond headed note there, and then back to the G and down to the note of D. I say down because it's up geographically, and it's the second button down on this third button start instrument. If you've got a 4th button start instrument, it'll be the 3rd button down. And the chords behind that bar, well, we had C with the A bass in bar 1, which was this. Just hold the same buttons and push in. You know that you've got a C chord on the pull and the push. So this time it's on the push. When I want a C on a push, I put an asterisk by it, and the D bass is button 2 on the outside row. So it's the same buttons for the C with the A bass as for C with the D bass, but pushed rather than pulled. So you push in and then go back to your G. Remember, it's G chord with a G bass. So that gives us our first 2 bars. Like that, see? So really, when you get to the 2nd and 4th notes, right hand wise, probably that's the time to start thinking about lifting your chord off. But obviously it will depend on your Melodeon. Yours might sound better if you're holding on to the chords for longer. So that's the first 2 bars. Now we're going to move over to the D row for the whole of bar 3. I'm going to do this. Now similarly to what we did in bar number 1, we're going to pull and then push on the same buttons. In bar 1 we pushed and pulled on the same buttons, other way around this time. So E and G, fingers 2 and 3, and then F sharp and D, fingers 3 and 2. Pushing, see? So pull and push. And the bass here, it just says C, so you're going to play a C bass and a C chord on the pull, and then it says D with an asterisk, so you're going to play D bass D chord on the push, so it's kind of opposite corners, if you like, like that, okay? And put that together with the right hand. In bar 4 you're going to play your D note again, but you're going to play the C chord with the D bass again, like you did in bar 2, and while you're holding that D down with the right hand, you change chord to the G. So you've got, now these diamond headed notes, they look a bit weird, don't they, because it's on the D row, but it's a semi-brief, so it's 4 beats. Let's play our first 4 bars, shall we? Pull the bellows out a bit before we start. Bar 5 is the same as bar number 1, so we'll just get that out of the way. Now I made a little variation here. So we've got G and F sharp like we had in bar 2 on the push. And this time I use my little finger on the note A on the D row and back to the note G on the G row. But it's still C with the D bass and a G chord in the left hand. And then bar 7 is the same as bar 3. Now put fingers 3 and 4 down in position, pushing, gives you an F sharp and an A note as you play C with the D bass. You get a rather lovely combination of notes there, don't you? And notice to change the position to position home. So first finger on the G, the root note, second finger on the B. As you play C with the D bass on the push and the G chord with its G bass, of course. So that gives you. Let's play our first page through. Remember to bring the bellows out. And notice you have to heave the bellows out there halfway through. I mean, I probably could have planned it a bit better, so I didn't have to do that. But it's, you know, I don't think it matters for this type of piece, which is very sustained. Right, so that's the A part, if you like, and the B part on the next page. Pretty straightforward. So from bar 9, we're going to run up, and we're just alternating D row, G row, D row, G row, F sharp, G, A, B. So we're in position home, so second finger is on button 4 for the F sharp, first finger on button 3 for the G, third finger goes on button 6 for the A note, and finger 2 goes on button number 4 for the B. So we've got F sharp, G, A, B, just running up. And if you play a G chord with that, the overall effect is what we call a G major 7th, a G with an added F sharp. Rather nice. And then it says no bass, and you can lift the bass off if you like after the first note. Now it's the same buttons but pulling, so that gives you G, A, B and C, with a C with the A bass, which we did earlier on in the tune, the A minor 7th. Now the chord in bar 11 is G with the D bass. So you're going to play this G chord, okay, button 3, outside row on the push, with the D bass on the push, so it's next door neighbours, that's button 2 for that D bass, like that. And you're going to have to change the position halfway through this bar. I put a little dagger underneath that third note, because you could just sound it by changing the bellows direction. So you've got A on the push, that's on the D row, diamond head. B on the G row, push, pull out to get C natural, and then D on the next button down. Let's play those first 3 bars, shall we, of the second page. hand in bar 12, still pushing. We've got B and G, and then pull out to get the A. And we're going to play a C with the D bass like we did in bar 2. So it's the same as our A minor 7, but pushed. And for that final A note in the right hand, we're going to play a D chord. D chord on the pull. So it's the bottom 2 buttons, same buttons you use for the G chord but pulled out. So let's play our first 4 bars. Now we're coming to what is probably the hardest part of the tune now. We're going to play this top G, and then we're going to drop down to F sharp. Now it's little finger on the G, second finger on the F sharp on the D row, and we run up, and again we're going to do one of those little daggers there to change from B to C, ending up on the D. So the timing there is 1, 2 and 3 and 4 and G chord to start. I'm going to do a similar thing in the next bar, but it's actually easier because it's E, so button below the G on the pull. It's all on the pull this bar, so no changing of direction. It's a nice way to use your fingers here. Got the E there, and then you simply run up, alternating D row, G row. 2 and 1, 3 and 2, 4 and 3. Gives you E, F sharp, G, A, B, C. And in that bar we've got C with the A bass, just to start the bar. So that would be... Let's play those 2 bars then. Now in bar 15, where the little finger falls, that's a D. And you simply run through the 3 notes of a G major chord, D, B, G, fingers 4, 3, 2, as you sustain a G chord. And then you pull in the second half of the bar, play the note C, little finger falls nicely on the note B on the D row, as does finger 3 on the note G on the D row. So you've got push, 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 pull, pull, pull. Bass line G to start with, remember it's a G with a G bass. And then C with the A bass, the A minor 7th. And then staying with that C with the A bass, we're going to play E, G, G on the D row, all on the pull, and then go over to the G row, play F sharp and A together. And in that bar left hand wise, like I said, C with the A bass to start with. And then we have D, bass and D chord on the pull, no asterisk. And then in bar 17, we play a straightforward G major chord, albeit in a different inversion. We had D, G and B. So on this Melodeon it's buttons 2, 3 and 4. And hopefully you can see my little finger going down on that note of A on beat 3. And that's giving us what amounts to a G with an added second or G with an added ninth as you sustain the G chord. Go out the notes a bit more. And now I'm suggesting you play the whole thing through again from the beginning and then just play the second page again. So the idea here is to try and make it sort of sound tasteful. Not too slow, but obviously if you rush it, it's going to spoil it. And think in terms of a hymn, and you'll have pretty much the right idea. Let me play it through for you, and then I'll play it through on the Lilliput for you.